So I have blocked in the ends and I've welded on these. The grease came out a little bit, I'll just have to reapply some grease. I put a bit of oil in to cool it down to stop the bearings from melting. As you can see, the steel isn't discoloured. So I turned these around the opposite way, drilled some new holes, and now the threads are nearer to the base. Should make it a bit more stable. And that was TIG, and then this bit's MIG. And here is the plate for it. So just a few more things left to do. This being the base plate for the milling table. Now it ain't the best of welds, but it is welded. This one's particularly crap. That one ain't too bad if you just wipe across it. That one is particularly good, although you'll never see that because that's underneath the machine. That one ain't great. Oh, you know, it ain't bad. So there's a bit of flux to come off this one here. I'll just patch this one a little bit. And I don't think it was worth patching. It doesn't make it much better, but there we go. And this is the welds on those. If it could have all been like that, I'd have been well happy. You know, like that. But maybe it wasn't clean enough all the way around for me. Anyhow, so I've got to find a way of decking them off now. Right, I'll get on with it. Oh, no, there's one more thing. These are finished now. I had to mill off for clearance these, so I stuck it back in the mill and milled them off for clearance, and I clamped that in the mill, and there was one gap either side, so they're pretty level. I was quite happy at that. So they're ready for paint now. Just got to deburr the edges on this, and once I've finished the welding on that, which won't be long, 2 draw runners, I'll put that in undercoat, red oxide, and I'll just grind it off at the top and put the tabs back on again. At a later date, this afternoon or something like that, I don't know. I'm lost where I'm going now. I might do something else while I'm thinking about it. Right, since the door frame is outside, it's raining, so I can't do more painting today. And it's only painted on this side, and I've got some black tape on it stopping the rain going inside the holes. Right, since that's outside, it's all ground up, it's all ready to fit. It'll be going across there. I'll get some grout or levelling compound from underneath it to make sure it sits level. I now have space in here. I can get to the shaper without any hassle. So you may see me making the quick change tool holders for the mini lathe before long. I think will be the first project on this. And yes, that vise is way too big for it. Well, I think I'm going to use it for the time being, unless someone wants to buy it off me. It's a very good vise. I'm just a bit upset it's too big for this. Now I don't know how well this is going, because this is the first time I've ever done anything quite so absurd. Now to set this up, bearing in mind we're looking at the convexed side here, and the other thing you need to know is not only does it bend over that way, it also bends up this way as well. Because of that, this is the low side. I've decided I'm going to put the coolant drain at the front. I did want it at the back, although it might be at the back now. Because I don't know what's happened. All I know is that I've gone all the way around the edges in the Bridgeport, and to do that I've moved the ram backwards, I've moved it forwards, it's been all over the shop. Right, so you're on the stand, you might fall off. What I've done in between putting you on the stand is I wound the table all the way to the back and then counting the dials how many turns, I worked out that I've got 10 inches of travel from when the table collides with my weight cover bracket table shelf thing. And I need 9.5 inches between centres. The reason why I'm using inches is because it's inches on the dials. It's just easier to count it. So I'm going to convert the 24 centimetres into inches and do the centres on this one. The X travel, not a problem. Y travel is just in. So after I'd wound it all the way this way, it's not quite all the way this way, but there's a bit of travel left. I've got about half an inch, quarter inch left. I've wound the ram back until the cutter looks like it's above the centre of that hole. Anywhere near the centre of the hole is good. I'm not bothered if it's right on the centre, because undoubtedly when I do these centres, these pins are not going to be absolutely bang on, or these studs or whatever you call it. And I was worried whether that was the front and this was the back. I'm looking from underneath. That is the front, so I've got it the right way around. I was a bit worried when I was explaining whether I got it the wrong way around. I have got it the right way around. So now, next, I can fit a drill chuck. Okay, we're a bit lower down here. So at present, I've got, you see there, I've got the drill on centre, and I'll just do it by eye with a ruler. It's 19mm, so yeah, 19mm, 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 it's square, it's bang on centre. And the last movement I did was winding this clockwise, so the bed was going that way. And down here I have some marks, and they don't mean anything anymore, so I'm going to wipe them off. They weren't there for when I had the rotary table on, and every time I came centre up, I could centre up, and yeah, the power feed doesn't work at the moment, but that isn't what we're looking at. So, I know when I'm over this hole here, the bed's travelling that way, and that's 0, and it looks like it's in the centre. When I've gone from that one to that one, that one to that one, and that one to that one, if I stop at 0 on this one, that will be parallel with that one. So to know which 0 to stop on, I'm going to put 2 marks here. Right, I took all the backlash out and I had the lock on really tight, so I just unlocked the gib. It's about 28 thou. And the drill still drops in. You see that? Yeah, you can see that. So the drill still drops into the hole beautifully. And I've zeroed the dial on this side. So, yeah, you can see the dial on this side. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, and then sit. So that should put me right in the centre. Let's have a look. Let's see if you can see that. Not sure. Come on, camera. You might fall out at any time. Telephoto, yeah, you can see that now. That should be in the centre of that, more or less. Well, it is close to the centre, but clearly I might decide to do something other than a 22 centimetre centres. That's definitely 22 centimetres, but we are at, that's close. That's quite close. It's not as far off as what I thought. Into the centre. 16 and 16 and 20, is that? No. Silly boy. 16 and 22, I think. Just about. $17 and 22. So if I take 2.5 centimetres off that, and we'll call that the centre on this one. 2.5. So I'm going to work out that, and then I'm going to pull the table back 2.5 centimetres, and I'll remember what that is. Because I'd rather it look central than just be a nominal 22 centimetres. So I've worked that out at 8 inches 5/8. So I'm just going to put a little reminder on this one to remember it's 1/8. Yep. Can I read that? Yeah. I'm going to put another one on here just to make sure. So I can't forget that now. So that's that set up. And we're on centre. Let's just show you it's on centre. Can you see that? So now I'm quite happy it's on centre that way. Very happy. And I've put me down here, you can see my hand here, down here on the bed. I've written that figure down, it's 8,580. 0 in clockwise. We even put a thing on it, yeah, righty ho. So now I need to wind in 9,450. So there we go. Run up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's the 0 there? We need 450. One. No! Oh, best laid plans of mice and men. I counted that. I had 10 inches. These are the things that you have to do. So now, what I've got to do is erase all of my marks. I'm going to push the head out. Let's see how much I've got to push the head out. Just because I'm working right at the limit of what the Bridgeport can do. This will not be a problem, but I'm a bit annoyed, as you can imagine. So,
Yeah. Right in the centre of that. Right in the centre of that. Yeah. Four millimetres. 4mm. Just for 4mm. You wouldn't believe it, would you? So I'm just going to kick the head out another 4mm. Reset onto this back hole again. Reset all my dials up again. Move across, make sure I drop into that there. Then do my 9450 across there. Right, so I just loosened up the two bolts on the other side of the ram, and I've moved the ram out a little bit. And now I shall be able to get, if I need it, 241mm if I need it. I don't think I need it, but I shall be able to get that. Now I'm going to wind the table back to make sure I can still get to the centre of that other hole. Remember, none of these marks make any difference to anything now. There will be a couple of millimetres out. Yeah, I can just get it, only just. So literally it must be only 9.5 inches. And, or 9,450. Unlock that, yeah. And back here. Always something. So yeah, I'm going to have to take them out somehow. Hopefully. Just the, yeah, done. Good, good, good. That's them. Okay, I have all of the marks around everywhere, hopefully. Now I'm going for M10 and we're putting these grade 8.8 bolts in to hold that to the table, so I'll need to drill it. .25mm. 25mm will do, and they're all 33, sorry that's 33.92, 33, 35, 36, so they're going to take a 25mm. So 25mm is the depth, just to make sure that I can tap the amount of threads that I need. So we will touch off with this drill there, and I'll set up for a 25mm depth. You can see that I am just widening him out a bit. I'm just setting up the quote for this depth. And I'll go around and do all 4 holes. And then after that, I will bring it to tapping size. That's 25mm. Or what about that? Consider it locked. Bring it back out again. And there we go. Drop the wheel. piece of steel here is for the mini lathe. Yeah, that side's got to have a mill put into it and then folded up. That's going to be the base for the mini lathe, and the folded up section, which is going to get welded, is going to be where the motor mount goes. And this is the same condition as I showed it earlier on. Just want the drawers welding onto it, and then the 4 anchor points for that table that we've just been watching. That one there. I've been faffing around for about an hour, and I've got this set up here. This is mag base. Out of mag base, it's got threads on the end. Ooh. And then I've got this other slug and bar set up. I've got another indicator rod and a 1,000th vertic indicator, which is actually 2/10. It's 1,000ths between them. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it is 4 thou difference from there to there, and I messed about for a long time. It was floating around about 20 thou, and then I did it one more time, got to 4 thou. I thought that will do. It's playing with the gib locks to get it absolutely right. So now I am ready to cut the 2 short sections. I have wound the ram back almost as far as it goes, and that clears just down the end here. Still got to Loctite this in. So just clears. So I will do that side, and then we'll set up. I'll show you me setting up for the other side. I now need to get this cutter onto this side, hopefully in the same setup. I'm not sure, it only just made it this side, so fingers crossed it will make it this side. This is how I do it. At the moment I've got a flywheel and a wheel down there, so I have to climb on that and get up here. There's 2 locks which I have to undo. That's one. That's 2. And then to make sure that they are loose, I'm just going to tap them with a bit of brass. And they are loose. At that point I can wind the handle, which pushes the ram forwards. Now I've gone way past where I usually would go, but I need to see if it's going to make it, or if I've got to do any messing about. I'll lift the components up a little bit further then. That's as close as I can go. Now that ain't going to reach it, and we're almost hanging off the end, so I might just try swinging the head round till it's absolutely perpendicular, and that might bring it close enough that I'm happy. And to do that, there's 4 more locks to undo. So there's two on this side. We're doing them diagonal. So that's one undone. And there's two more on this side, which you can see. That's that one undone. And that one. And that one. So I'll swing the head round. At which point the cutter is just overhanging a little bit. So it's a bit central. I can put it this way a bit. I've got an extra inch or so, so I'll put it this way a bit. I don't want to overhang that too much. Just make sure I can get to that end. Make sure it still feels stable. Should do. So yeah, I can get off the end there. So let's just have it out a bit further, if I can. Deal with bottles, otherwise it'd be going all over the floor. Back a bit, and then forward a little bit more. There. Is that far enough? That is far enough. Okay. So we'll nip me turret back up again on diagonals. And then we'll lock the ram back up again. All locked up. I'm just going to go and open the door to let the fly out. Even a stupid fly should be able to find that gap now. It found the gap to get in, but they always get in and can't get out of small gaps. Silly things. Right. Now I am going to be able to do that. Oh yeah. With ease. The flexibility of the Bridgeport. Unbelievable. Locked. Let's bring it out to touch. And we'll see how this goes. And we'll go to the other side. Righty ho, here is the setup. I have this facing device. It came with the milling machine. The milling machine came out of an engine and gearbox casing factory. So I guess this was used for facing off cylinder heads or gearbox casings and many things like that. It has a carbide tip in it and it does a really good job last time I used it. So I've got it in the lowest pulley gear and I've got the VFD running at 17 Hertz. I don't want to go into back gear if I don't have to. I'm going to lock off the Y position and unlock the X, the Z, and we're coming up to the cut. We touch any second. Any second.
That was too much for it. Belt slip. 70 thous like another hour. I might as well just stick an end mill into it, take this out, sharpen it up. Right, so tip is absolutely and utterly jiggered. For a start I was taking 20 thou cuts, and the first one I did alright, it stalled and it was okay after that. The second time when it stalled, it broke the tip off. So I'll just do another cut across. It's not leaving a great surface finish, it's only a crack in the tip, so it's still cutting. And I've just measured down to this one here. There's 70 thou to come down. So I'm going to pull the ram in towards the base, take off 100 thou off the rears, because these just took 40 thou to clean up, and then I'll take 5 thou passes until the whole thing is level. I've got a bit of a disaster. As you can see, the gear covers are off. Well, there's no motor in there. It's all gone wrong. Everything's gone wrong. I've got the motor cap there, the safety barrier cap thing. That was pretty mangled. I straightened that up and it's not bad. It's a bit, I promise you that it was mangled. So yeah, there we go. The pulley is here. The motor adapter plate's there. The motor was here. I've taken it to get rewound. I ain't got time to mess about with it, so I've took it down to the rewinders. They're going to rewire it 3-phase 220 volts for me. So it'll be exactly the same as this. 230 volts. So both of these will work off the same VFD, although this is a bit more powerful, I think. Yeah, a bit more powerful. So anyway, enough about that. There's me little doohickey. I was using my little doohickey, I must put it away. So I've just levelled this up. I've temporarily put the 12mm studs in. It is level. I am now going to tack weld on the draw runners. Then I will unscrew the actual draw runners off of the draw runner backers, and then I will weld them on. That's what I'm doing now. Right, I've excused some of the mess. The refuge sites aren't open at the moment, so I can't take all my rubbish down. But that steel frame there, and that is 120mm by 80mm square with 8mm wall thickness. It's a 10mm base plate, 1.2 meters long and 150mm wide. That alone weighs a lot. This I'd suggest is around about 400 and something kilograms. Plan of action is lay it down from where it is into position, lift it up as high as I can get it and put some kind of strut in here, then get another strut which is longer, lift it up and put that strut in, lift it up, put another strut in until it gets to an angle where I can't go any further with struts, and then maybe use the engine crane to help me. So a little bit left over, and I'll mix some concrete into it, you know, basically some more sand and some more stones, and fill that up a little bit so the self-leveling compound can come in. Into the main event, while I was doing the TIG welding on machine movers and a few bits on that, I thought, instead of doing it freehand or making some kind of jig, I thought, let's see if the grinding attachment can get into the right position to do TIG tungsten grinding, and yeah, straight in. Perfect. Took a bit of setting up, about 5 minutes, and does it beautifully. Anyway, I drilled those holes from measuring it multiple times on my little pad here. So I use my little pad there. I erase it afterwards, and it's better than using paper. Mini whiteboards, and the guess of 295 millimeters and 185 millimeters, wherever it was a guess, was bang on. At present, the saddle is wound as far back as it can go. I know that because the handle, if you wind it any further, will snap off. So we'll just wind that away a little bit. When the saddle is wound all the way back, I still have a finger's width here. I need to put some of my saddle stop in there so I don't break the handle off, because I can see that handle happening. Or I could make a new handle with a bigger dish on it so it bottoms out on the riser block. Anyway, the riser block is the name of the video. It's been 3 parts so far, and there it is, fitted up. Still working out the length of bolts or size of washers I need. These go nice. I still might make a big washer clamp down hold thing for it, but that's another story. Whatever happens there, happens there. I've got 2 bolt lengths here I'm checking out for the top. This is the only hole pattern I haven't checked yet. I'm pretty certain it will, as you can see the bolt's very long. I'm pretty certain after all the other bolts layouts that I've done, and the time I took to measure them out 4 or 5 times, I'm pretty certain these will fit. All the holes are nominal. These are from the factory. Still lots of paint in them. Very tight around the bolt. So the platen, or the thing, whatever it's going to be called, I don't know what it is, the base, the top plate of the base is done basically. I can now fit it to the stand. But to fit it to the stand, I need to drill the holes. So now I've got to mark out the holes on here, straight and square, to the hole pattern which is underneath there. And I didn't write it down. Luckily I videoed it, I think, because I didn't use that hole pattern there, because I put the studs on a different location. Great. Don't change your plans, because if you do change your plans, write it down. So there's only one thing left to do there, is to put the column on from the little mini mill, which is sitting over here. I can get to the shaper now. It's so much easier to get to the shaper. So I really want to undo the bolts on that right now and try it, but it is shimmed. As you can see, a little brass shim hanging out here, and at present it cuts very nice. When I'm doing a fly cut, you cut one way, then you cut the other way. It cuts both ways, and the trailing edge hits and the trailing edge hits. It's set up nice, so I don't want to disturb it just yet. A couple of more things on here. The machine mover's ready for paint, and the stand is ready for paint. Yeah, I'll put the hinge rails on. The hinge rails, the drawer slider rails on. So now the drawer sliders can go on, and I set them all up, including the things you might think they're not level. I don't know if you can see that. That's because they're bent like a banana, but I'm going to show you the holes are all level, and the top, I don't know if you can see that. I use one of those little magnetic level boxes and did that. Okay, this is temporary, this roof, but the door frame is not temporary. The door frame is going to be in. Still Big gap there. And fit a massive fan in there. The garage will never be attached to the house. Hold down bolts are in. Concrete wall anchors, whatever you call them, concrete anchors are in. And I've covered up the top and put a, whatever you call it, to stop me getting rained on when I'm doing the locks. So I need to put a niche or whatever. I need to put this beam, which is holding the roof up at the moment, I need to extend it so it rests on top of this piece of steel here. Then I can take this old door frame out and this temporary wall here. And while I was doing the concrete in here, well, I was putting a mortar bed down underneath the thing. I mixed way too much mortar up. I added some concrete into the mortar mix to make it like a semi-concrete mix. And I filled that patch in a little bit. It's not still too deep for a thin set floor leveling thing. And I've still got to chip out the gas pipe and then relay that in so it isn't a great big hump. So now I can get to the shaper again. Some bits and bobs I've done. I've cleaned the majority of the chips out of there. I'm just looking and there's a few still in there. And lubricated that gear. Well, it looks quite dry now. And then lubricated the lead screw, which is one there and then the same the opposite side. Re-lubricated the ways there. Lubricated the auto feed mechanism, cleaned the auto feed mechanism arm slightly, cleaned behind the auto feed mechanism drum. Now you can see some silver happening down there and got some more of the grime off of around here. Near enough got all the grime off the ram. There's still some bits here. I think it's where someone tried to paint it, but there was too much oil on it, so it hasn't stuck. Freed off this. So first time today, I managed to rotate the compound. Unbelievable. So that's that freed off. Completely stripped the clapper box to pieces. Now it's not rusty and full of paint, and I can get oil into the oil import now, and it all works perfectly. The bottom bolt's completely tightened up, but it still just moves from side to side. Top bolt hasn't got paint all over it anymore, and I've Scotch-Brighted the surfaces slightly, but not the mating surfaces at all. Oh, and there's a screw in there which I didn't know was there before because it's completely filled with grunge, and that's the pinch bolt, the grub screw to hold the pin in for the clapper box. And you have to take the clapper out to get this out. I like the whole thing out of that washer didn't come off. Simple that washer didn't come off. Now it's all tidied up. It had some nasties in it. You see them? Yeah. So we're getting close. Getting close to the first time. This works backwards. So
for some reason, I'm winding it clockwise now and it's coming towards me. Oh no, we're going to get a crash. No, we're alright, we just averted the situation. Don't vice fall off. No vice not fall off. Okay, so the shaper, I did some more cleaning down this side as well. Oh, and I've got the belt fitted and the motor's fitted and it's all in line. All I've got to do now is get the VFD on it and put the work light. The work light is here. I will fit it up. It's going to go back on. It goes there. There. So I've got all the parts put back on again, and I'll dig through all this crud in here and find out what all that is. And I'll give the workbox another cleaning, and that should be good. And then the work table. I had some black acrylic paint. You might have seen the tin, yeah, on the table. You've just seen it on the table. So that's got black acrylic paint. I obviously masked off the mating surfaces. Now I've got some red acrylic paint as well. And as you can see, I hand painted the undercoat on. And I went to spray this red acrylic on, and the coverage was rubbish. I had to spray it on that thick that it was running. It's probably very good paint, but I don't want to coat it 17 times, so I'm going to get some like Hammerite, but not. I want to get some proper oil-based or acrylic paint and we'll paint it. Oh, I went around the whole of the floor with the magnetic sweep, well, the majority, all the concrete, and you wouldn't believe how much metal was on the floor. So there's no chips on the floor now. Well, there's very few. I'm getting closer. I'm going to be able to use my concrete hardener very shortly. And the machine movers, oh yeah, they're here. That's just a complete mess. We're getting closer to it not being a mess anymore. These should be dry now, to be fair. Yeah, probably. Yeah. That's good. So they're black. The same acrylic paint that I've used on the top here. So it should be pretty good stuff. The runs are from the hand painted red oxide primer, and that'll probably be the weak point. And I've got to clean up the seal surface again because I didn't mask it. That was a bit stupid, wasn't it? But there you go. So, and the riser block that's inside, because that's got no paint on it. It's got bare surfaces, and we're not putting oil on it at the moment because I'm not using it. As soon as I start using it, it'll be sprayed with oil constantly. And the plan of this was to make 2 axles and then put a block of steel in between. I know that's wood, but a block of steel in between it, bigger than that, wider, shall I say, than that. Then put a bearing on top. But I saw Keith Rooker using some machine movers yesterday, and they were more like trolleys. He had like 4. If you quote it, so he wasn't using these at the back. He was using his pallet truck, but he had 2 skates at the front, which were steerable. So I might be fabricating these and just making axles and moulding them in like that to make them. I don't know. I haven't decided, but they've got to be quick because I want things moved now.